You're a failure at everything you do. My father's voice pierces the midnight silence in my 32nd floor apartment. My fingers grip the phone while my other hand unconsciously touches the laptop keyboard. The logo of A&D Holdings LLC glows pale blue on the screen. Richard's words echo through the phone, reverberating in my skull. You are worthless. Cuts like salt rubbed into an old wound. But tonight is different. Deep within the pain, something else is quietly awakening. Not anger. Not resignation. It's something cold as ice, sharp as a blade, determination. You will forever remain a worthless human being. My father Richard's words over the phone stab into my chest as they always do. But tonight something is different. My gaze is fixed on the numbers on the screen. $7,500. Payment due in 5 days. A truth they don't know. For 7 years, I believed their words were true. That I was a worthless person. But the numbers displayed by A&D Holdings LLC tell a different truth. I am the one who holds the power of life and death over this family. Outside the window, Chicago's nightscape twinkles with countless points of light. The view from the 32nd floor sparkles like jewels scattered across the earth. Lake Michigan's surface reflects moonlight, and the distant sound of sirens carries on the wind. Only the low hum of the air conditioner and the regular ticking of grandmother's antique clock dominate this silent space. Deep in my chest, something crumbles with an audible crack. It was the mask of being a good daughter. And simultaneously, something else rises up. It was the real me that had been sleeping for so long. Anna, are you listening? Do you understand how incompetent you are? Yes, Father. My voice is flat. But inside, the new me is quietly smiling. On the screen, the mouse cursor hovers over the contract details button. After the call ends, the apartment returns to silence. I continue staring at the screen. 7 years. 7 years of supporting them continuously. And 7 years of being berated like this. But now, they don't know that I hold the power to change everything in my hands. Pressing my forehead against the cold glass window, the coolness contrasts with the city's heat as it touches my cheek. I stare at my reflection in the mirror. Same face, same hairstyle, yet something has fundamentally changed. The light in my eyes is different. My eyes once held constant anxiety and apologetic looks, but now there's quiet conviction. I straighten my back and pull my shoulders back. This posture is also part of the new me. No need to apologize. No need to make myself small. I am a person who can stand with dignity. I look down at my palms. For 7 years, these hands existed only to be extended to them. To offer money, support, sacrifice. But now, these hands can be used for myself. A memory from 3 weeks ago resurfaces. Anna, why are you always so useless? Richard said without looking up from his newspaper. Mother Martha was making coffee in the kitchen, saying nothing as usual. My brother Ethan sat on the sofa with his legs crossed, wearing a smirk as he looked at me. That day, I had brought documents to take over their mortgage payments. $12,000 for an emergency payment. Another bailout to prevent their bankruptcy. Not even a word of thanks, I murmured quietly. What did you say? Richard's eyes flashed sharply. It's natural for you to do something for the family. That's your only value. The moment those words stabbed into my chest, a pain like ice needles piercing my heart shot through me. 7 years of accumulated humiliation and anger formed one massive lump stuck in my throat. My breathing became shallow, sweat beaded on my palms. Something inside me was breaking with an audible crack. Perhaps it was the curse of having to be a good daughter. Going back further. 7 years ago. Ms. Anna, are you really sure about this? Lawyer Michael asked, staring at the documents. Taking over your parents' mortgage means. I want to protect them, I lied. At that time, I still thought I loved my family. But I also want insurance for just in case. Sitting in Michael's meeting room looking at the contract, I felt a quiet revolution occurring within me. The documents I signed 7 years ago seemed like a gift from my future self. Understood. We'll incorporate a purchase option clause into the contract. If payments fall behind, A&D Holdings LLC will be able to acquire complete ownership of the property. At that time, I never thought I would use this clause. But perhaps, deep in my unconscious, I was already preparing. 5 years ago, Thanksgiving. Anna, the salad is bland. Mother Martha frowned. Can't you even cook properly? I had spent the entire day preparing Thanksgiving dinner for 15 people. Naturally, I covered all the costs. From turkey to dessert, a total of $400. But there wasn't a single word of thanks. Anna, with your salary, can't you buy better ingredients? Richard added insult to injury. Under the kitchen fluorescent light, I wiped away tears while washing dishes. The warm dishwater enveloped my hands while my heart froze over. The criticism of the meal I made with love felt like a denial of me as a person. That night, I washed dishes alone in the kitchen while tears flowed. That was the last night I cried in front of him. Perhaps the last hope flowed away with those tears. 3 years ago, spring. Ethan's third business failure. Ethan, more dead? I stared at my brother's bank statement. What did you use it for this time? Investment, he answered lightly, as if he hadn't lost his own money. I'll pay it back soon. You can easily cover it, right, sis? $25,000. The aftermath of his third business failure. Restaurant, online shop, cryptocurrency, all started with my funds. All ended in failure. This is the last time. I know. He was already absorbed in his phone. The screen's light illuminated his indifferent expression. Thanks, ATM sis. ATM sis. At that moment, I heard something break inside my heart. Perhaps it was the last remaining love for my family. I smiled in front of them, but I felt something breaking deep in my heart. 2 years ago, Christmas. Anna, how much is your bonus this year? Richard asked at the dinner table, with the same naturalness as asking about his own income. Why? The car loan is tight. I could use a little help. $15,000. Down payment for a new car loan. And I was still driving my 7-year-old used car. Father, I want a new car too. You're single. A car just needs to run. We're supporting a family. Supporting a family? Wasn't I the one supporting them? Under the warm Christmas lights, I felt ice cold deep in my heart. In this family gathering, I felt like an outsider. I no longer knew if I was loved or being used. 1 year ago. Mother's hospitalization. Anna, about your mother's surgery costs. Richard's call started with demands as usual. $8,000. The part not covered by insurance. I paid without hesitation. Because it concerned Mother's health. Thank you, Anna. Martha held my hand in the hospital room. I'm so glad you're here. At that moment, I wanted to believe that they needed me, that they loved me. But after discharge, the first thing I heard was Mother's voice. Anna, couldn't you visit more often? You're so cold, always working. Back to the present. 2M. My finger hesitates over the keyboard. A&D Holdings LLC's management screen displays an Execute Purchase Option button. Pressing this button would make my parents' house completely mine. They sleep unknowing. The old me would have been crushed by guilt by now, wondering if I was hurting my family, if I was going too far, blaming myself. But the new me knows. What's hurt is their pride, not themselves. And only when pride is wounded can people first face the truth. I didn't destroy them. I liberated them from the prison of truth. I stare at my reflection in the window glass. 7 years of fatigue are etched there, but my eyes hold a light of determination I've never seen before. My phone vibrated. A text message from Michael. 5 days until payment deadline. Final confirmation. Will you really execute? I typed my reply. I'm not executing. I'm simply revealing the truth. With each word I spoke, I felt new power pulsing inside me. It was something opposite to fear, the conviction that I could control my own life. Next morning, at the office. Anna, are you okay? Colleague Samantha asked worriedly. You look like you didn't sleep much last night. Something with family, I answered vaguely. Something happened again? She knew some of my family situation. You're always being pushed around by your family. But somehow you look different today. Her observation was sharp. I had actually changed. My walk, my speech, my posture. Everything had changed subtly, but surely. Samantha, if your family only used you and didn't love you, what would you do? She thought for a moment. I'd choose people who value me. Blood relation isn't the only family, right? Those words resonated in my chest. Blood relation isn't the only family. This was the most important truth I'd learned over 7 years. Same day, evening. Call from Uncle David. Anna, be careful. My uncle's voice was tense. Richard is saying strange things about you. That money management should be left to someone else. My blood ran cold. Specifically, he wants Ethan to manage your accounts. Says Anna is bad at investing. Also, that girl is getting cheeky lately. She needs to be taught a lesson. Ethan managing my finances? That spendthrift? And teaching me a lesson? Uncle David, thank you. I'll be careful. After hanging up, I called Michael with shaking hands. The trembling wasn't from fear. It was from anger. Pure, righteous anger. We need to move up the plan. Tonight, let's decide everything. Night. Michael's office. Anna, once executed, there's no going back, Michael said with a serious expression. Are you really prepared? I stared at Chicago's nightscape through the window. Each twinkling light seemed to represent possibility. Will you really execute? Michael asked, and I answered as my new self. I'm not executing. My voice was surprisingly calm. I'm simply revealing the truth. If they call me a worthless person, let me show them how much power this worthless person holds. For 7 years, I sacrificed myself for their safety and happiness. My voice was quiet but firm. But they don't see me as human, only as an ATM. Even so, family is family. Family? I turned around. If it's family, shouldn't they respect and support each other? Forcing one-sided sacrifice is domination, not love. At first it was fear. What if they hate me? Then it was questioning. Why do only I have to sacrifice? Then it became anger. This is unfair. Finally, it became conviction. This is the right thing to do in this final stage. I learned what true courage was for the first time. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the strength to do what's right even when afraid. Michael quietly nodded. Understood. I'll prepare the documents. 3 days later. Day before payment deadline. My phone keeps ringing. Continuous calls from Richard. They finally noticed. The situation where they can't make payment. Anna. Richard's voice was panicked. The bank is saying something strange. That the mortgage has been transferred to A&D Holdings LLC. What's this about? I wouldn't know. My voice was ice cold. You don't know? Aren't you involved in this? Me? I laughed. That laugh was completely different from the me of 7 years ago. I was useless, wasn't I? A worthless person, right? Do you think such a person would have such capability? Silence continued on the other end. Anna, surely not. If you pay $7,500 by tomorrow, there's no problem. I stated only facts. If you can't pay, ownership transfers to A&D Holdings LLC. It's clearly stated in the contract. Contract? When did we sign such a thing? 7 years ago. Don't you remember? When you said, Anna, you wouldn't understand the details anyway. Just sign it. After a long silence, Richard's voice trembled. Anna, do you understand what you're doing? Yes, I looked up at the starry sky through the window. I finally understand. Payment deadline day. 11:59 p.m. I sit before the computer, staring at A&D Holdings LLC's management screen. The Execute Purchase option button awaits the moment of destiny. My phone rings. This time it's Martha. Anna, please. Mother's voice is crying. It's our home, full of memories. Mother. My voice is quiet. In those memories, are there any of you cherishing me? You're our daughter. Of course we love you. Love? I laugh sadly. Do you treat someone you love as an ATM for 7 years? Do you tell someone you love they're worthless every day? Those words might not be lies. But I knew. Her love was conditional. Love that lasted only as long as I was obedient, convenient, and met their demands. I hear Mother sobbing on the other end. But now, even tears couldn't move my heart. 11 hours, 59 minutes, 50 seconds p.m. 51 seconds. 52 seconds. My finger grips the mouse. My hand is completely steady. 53 seconds. 54 seconds. 55 seconds. Mother, one last question. I say while watching the clock. If Ethan were in the same situation, would you do the same to him? Silence. 56 seconds. 57 seconds. 58 seconds. You can't answer. I smile. That is the answer. 59 seconds. I click the button. The screen flashes briefly, displaying ownership transfer complete. A&D Holdings LLC is now officially the owner of my parents' house. But there's no sense of victory. What exists is deep sadness and, simultaneously, a feeling of liberation. The sadness isn't for the family I lost. It's mourning for the true family relationship that never existed in the first place. Next morning. Chicago morning sun streams into my 32nd floor apartment. My phone shows 47 missed calls, but I ignore them all. A&D Holdings LLC's ownership transfer is complete. My parents' house is now legally mine. At 10 a.m., the doorbell rings. On the intercom screen are all 3 family members' faces. Richard, Martha, and Ethan, all looking exhausted and confused. I take a deep breath and open the door. As they try to rush inside, I quietly stop them. If we're going to talk, here is sufficient. The tone of my voice stops them. It's not the usual small, trembling voice. It's clear and unwavering. Anna, what do you think you're doing? Richard tries to speak. Father, I interrupt his words. For 7 years, I listened to your words continuously. Now it's time to listen to mine. Silence spreads through the hallway. I look around at the 3 of them, feeling power rising from within as I continue. For 7 years, I supported you all, financially and emotionally. But in those 7 years, all I received was contempt and insults. My voice isn't shaking. My heart beats regularly. I understand for the first time that this is the real me. I can see Richard's hands trembling slightly. The father who always appeared dignified is understanding the fragility of his position for the first time. Anna, betraying family like this, Martha says tearfully. I smile quietly. Mother, can you teach me the meaning of the word betrayal? You're our daughter. Family should help each other, shouldn't they? Help each other? My voice is gentle, but with steel-like hardness beneath. For 7 years, who was helping whom? While I was helping you, what did you do for me? Martha is at a loss for words. I continue. If it's family, they should first respect each other as human beings. Treating someone as an ATM isn't family. It's exploitation. Martha wipes her tears while looking at me with fear in her eyes for the first time. She finally realizes that her previously obedient daughter actually held the family's fate in her hands. Sis, we were grateful too, Ethan says frantically. Grateful? I tilt my head. Was ATM sis an expression of gratitude? Ethan's face turns pale. That was a joke. A 7-year joke. I laugh quietly. What a long-running joke. But interestingly, I never found it funny. Sis, we were wrong. We apologize. Apologize? My gaze pierces Ethan. Ethan, what exactly are you apologizing for? Borrowing money? Calling me ATM sisses? Or for never seeing me as human? He can't answer. He couldn't possibly answer. Because he doesn't truly understand what he's done. Ethan bites his lip and stares at the floor. His usual frivolous smile is nowhere to be found. He's probably facing the consequences of his actions for the first time in his life. Anna, do you understand what you're doing? Richard's voice shakes with anger. I look up at him. I can now calmly receive that gaze that would have made me cower before. I understand completely, Father. My voice is ice cold and calm. I'm simply recovering my 7-year investment. Investment? Yes. For 7 years, I invested time, money, and emotions in this family. But the only return was contempt and insults. I smile. This was clearly a bad investment, so I'm withdrawing. Richard's face flushes red. Do you measure family with money? Me? I look surprised. Father, who has been treating me as a cash cow for 7 years, who has been measuring my value only in monetary terms. He's at a loss for words. I continue. I've finally started thinking by the same standards as you, and I realized this investment is very unprofitable. But now I've learned one thing. I smile. People are only treated by others within the range they allow themselves to be treated. Martha tries to say something, but I raise my hand to stop her. Anna, Mother loves you, Martha says desperately. I understand Mother's love, I answer gently. But love and respect are different things. What I wanted wasn't love, but respect. I am no longer someone to be despised by you. And you have also lost the right to despise me. Because I was supporting the foundation of your lives. I take out a copy of the contract. This contract is legal. My decision is also legal. And above all, I look at the three of them. This decision is the right thing to do. Ethan tries to step forward, but my gaze stops him. For 7 years, I tried to be your good daughter and convenient sister, but from today, I become the protagonist of my own life. I put my hand on the door. Michael will explain the contract details. That's all from me. Anna, wait. Martha's voice reaches my back, but I don't turn around. I don't need to turn around, because I chose to move forward. 1 week later, new office. I sit in the office of my newly established Financial Empowerment for Women Foundation. I moved from my previous 32nd floor high-rise apartment to a 5-story building closer to the street. The view from the window is lower than before, but somehow feels broader. The phone rings, and I hear a young woman's trembling voice. I'm in the same situation, being exploited by family. I don't know what to do. It's okay, I answer gently. First, remember that you're not alone, and that you have the right to choose. After hanging up, I gaze at Chicago's scenery through the window. My parents' house is still my property, but I've given them the right to continue living there. However, with the condition of paying $1,500 monthly rent. Not complete revenge, but giving them a chance to learn. A final opportunity for them to learn true responsibility. Revenge was sweet, but sweeter still was helping people in situations like mine. On my desk are stacks of thank you letters. From women who escaped family domination with my support. 22-year-old Jessica refused her stepfather's financial demands and achieved independence. 35-year-old Michelle drew boundaries with her mother and began building a healthy relationship. 41-year-old Sarah stopped exploitation by her siblings and protected her children's savings. Each letter tells me my choice was right. Among them is a note from Samantha. Anna, inspired by your courage, I've decided to draw boundaries with my mother too. Thank you. You taught me what true friendship looks like. I smile. This was real family. Bonds with people who respect and support each other, not blood relations. True bonds formed by choice. My phone vibrates. A message from Uncle David. Anna, I'm proud of you. You did the right thing. I wish I had courage like yours. Richard seems quite changed lately. Martha too. Little by little, they seem to be accepting reality. I reply, courage has no age limit. It's never too late. And if they can change, that's wonderful. 3 p.m. First session. A young woman sits in my office. Jennifer, 26 years old. She sends $2,000 monthly to her parents, but receives no gratitude, only demands for more. But they're family, she says tearfully. Jennifer, precisely because they're family, you should respect each other. I answer quietly. Exploitation in the name of family is worse than other exploitation. Because it's justified in the name of love. Understanding lights up in her eyes. But I don't know how to refuse. You don't need to change everything at once, I say, remembering my own experience. Let's start by recognizing your value. You are a valuable person. Not monetary value, but value as a human being. After the session ends, I watch the sunset through the window. Chicago's sky is dyed in gradients of orange and purple, colors of beautiful endings and new beginnings. 3 months later, my new apartment is smaller than before, but there's true peace here. No pressure, no guilt, no fear. Just silence and a life chosen by myself. I placed grandmother's antique clock on a new shelf. Next to it, I displayed the foundation's establishment certificate. A gift from the past and a promise to the future, sitting together peacefully. The doorbell rings. Looking at the intercom screen, Martha stands alone. Her expression looks more tired than I've ever seen. But simultaneously, there's something new. It's humility. I open the door. Anna, could I have a little of your time? Mother's voice is small, without the demanding tone of before. Please come in. She enters the living room hesitantly, as if visiting her daughter's home for the first time. It's a lovely room. She looks around. Very you. We sit facing each other. After a long silence, Martha speaks. Anna, I've been thinking constantly about what you said, what you did. At first, I was full of anger and confusion. But she wipes away tears. You are right. I listen without saying anything. We took you for granted. We thought your kindness was our natural right. Her voice trembles. We thought we loved you, but we were just using you. I can feel there's no lie in that confession. Mother, I say quietly, recognition is the first step toward change. Richard has changed too. Paying $1,500 rent monthly, he's learning the value of money. And how much you did for us. I smile. That's good. Anna, I won't ask you to forgive us. But could we start over? This time, as a real family? For a long time, I consider the answer. What is forgiveness? What is family? And can people really change? Mother, forgiveness isn't given all at once. I say slowly. It's built up through mutual respect and understanding. I understand. If you truly want to change, I can take steps toward you too. But we can't return to the previous relationship. We need to build a new relationship from scratch. Martha nods. Thank you, Anna. That's enough. After she leaves, I gaze at the night view through the window. I might have chosen a more difficult path than complete severance. But perhaps that's what it means to be human. Imperfect beings who can nonetheless grow. 6 months later, Thanksgiving Day, in my new apartment, chosen family has gathered. Samantha, Michael, Uncle David, and several women I support through the foundation. Not blood relations, but people who respect and support each other. Anna, What are you grateful for this year? Samantha asks. I think. There have been many things. What I lost, what I gained, what I learned. I'm grateful for reclaiming my life, I answer, and for learning the meaning of true family. Warm laughter echoes around the table. In the evening, the doorbell rings. Richard, Martha, and Ethan are standing there. They weren't invited, but for today at least. Hello, I say quietly. Anna, sorry to disturb you. Richard's voice doesn't have the intimidating tone of before. Could we have just a little of your time? I invite them into the living room. Chosen family and blood family exist in the same space. Strange, but not a bad sight. Anna, we want to apologize to you, Richard says. Truly, from our hearts. And thank you, Ethan continues, for teaching us reality. I look at the three of them. Perhaps not perfect, but people making an effort to change. Father, mother, Ethan, I say. Complete reconciliation will take time. But today is Thanksgiving. Would you like to have dinner together? 1 year later. I stand at the podium. I'm giving a keynote speech at an international conference on supporting women's economic independence. In the audience are supporters from around the world. For 7 years, I was imprisoned in a prison called family. I begin quietly. But the one holding the prison key was actually myself. I hear the audience intake breath. Family isn't determined by blood relation alone. Family means people who respect, love, and support each other. And sometimes, to find such people, we need the courage to let go of the illusion of blood relation. After the speech, many people come to me. People with similar experiences, people seeking support, people wanting to create change. Among them is a young man. Are you Anna Dawson? He says nervously. I'm James Williams. After hearing your story, I'm in a similar situation. Could you help me? I smile. My story wasn't an ending, but a beginning. Of course, James. First, you're doing the right thing. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. That night, in my new apartment, I open a new diary and take my pen. Outside the window, Chicago's nightscape sparkles. Each light illuminates its own story. Stories of pain, hope, and change. My story was one of liberation from a prison called family to freedom. And now I help others find the same freedom. A new year has begun. True freedom is living a life you've chosen. And within that choice, supporting, loving, and respecting others. Blood relation is destiny, but family is choice. I put down my pen and gaze out the window. In the distance, someone's life is beginning to change. Someone is finding courage. Someone is discovering their own value. And I'm deeply proud to be part of that change. The past is over. The future has begun. And I have finally become the protagonist of my own life.